Nintendo just announced that we're getting a brand new Nintendo Direct tomorrow, so I thought it'd be fun to try and guess what they're going to be showing off. Let me just say, I'm not expecting all of this. Like, it would really be insane if we saw all the games that I'm mentioning here in one Direct. But I'm just kind of throwing out ideas of what they could be revealing. I'm sticking with only my first party guesses because I know that we're going to see some third parties, but those are harder to predict. We're in kind of a weird situation where beyond Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4, there's nothing else from Nintendo for me to look forward to right now. So I'm sure there's something in this Direct for me to look forward to. And as you're watching or listening, comment down below what you think is going to be in the Direct. If you're new here, it'll also really help me out if you could leave a like and subscribe. I make Nintendo related videos, so it's the best way you can support my channel. Alright, it's time to jump into some predictions. First up, I'm thinking we're going to see Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered. If not both of them, then definitely at least 2. I think this will be a way for them to kinda get us ready for Metroid Prime 4 later this year. I never got into the Prime games until the first one was remastered, and I'd really like to play the next two before 4 without having to bust out the Wii. The first Metroid Prime remastered shadow dropped in a February Direct just 2 years ago, so it's not totally out of the question. Maybe they do something like Prime 2 is available now, Prime 3 in a couple weeks alongside a physical of both Prime 2 and 3. I think we're going to see Prime 4 pretty close to the Switch 2's launch, and I'm expecting that to be around May or June, so that's plenty of time to get through both games before that. And speaking of Metroid Prime 4, I also think there's a good chance we might see that here too. Maybe like one more trailer if this really is a Switch 1 only game. And they could even give it a release date here. If not, I'm not really expecting to see this until the April 2nd Direct focusing entirely on Switch 2, and maybe it'll have some improvements there. Now if this Direct is Switch 1 focused, I'm expecting it to be pretty remake and remaster heavy. So my next guess is going to be Wind Waker HD. I used to be on the side of both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD, but I'm thinking they might just do one for now, and that one will be Wind Waker. I'm not going to complain if both games are there, I actually kind of like Twilight Princess a little more, but I think we're not going to see a brand new Zelda game until next year on the Switch 2, so to get a game out this year, they'll just port over Wind Waker HD. Now we don't have Miiverse anymore, and sharing things is kind of limited on Switch now, but I feel like they could take the original features of the Tingle Tuner and put that back in here. The Tingle Bottle wouldn't really work because again, no Miiverse, but I think they can find a way to bring back some of these old features and use that as kind of like a selling point to why this game is different than what's on Wii U. I know these games are beloved by a lot of fans, and it would really help make the Zelda collection on Switch just feel so complete. We already have so many games on there right now, why not throw 2 more? This next prediction's not the greatest because I don't really have any specific details, but I think we're going to see some kind of new amiibo in this Direct. As of right now, there's literally no new amiibo coming out. Like, there is nothing on the horizon. I feel like they're versatile enough that Nintendo's not just going to give up on the idea, but I think there's been a lot of missed opportunities lately with games that should have probably had some sort of amiibo, like Echoes of Wisdom getting its own Zelda amiibo. I don't think we're ever going to see so many released at once like the early Super Smash Bros. Waves, but I feel like 1 or 2 here and there throughout the year might be enough to just keep them alive. Next up, another remake / port. I think we're going to see Kirby Planet Robobot make its way to Switch. I know that this is a lot of people's favorite Kirby games, and it's generally regarded as the better one on the 3DS. I've always preferred Triple Deluxe a little bit more, but I think having Planet Robobot on Switch would help it stand out more from Return to Dreamland Deluxe. This one's been rumored for a while, so I don't really think it's out of the question. It doesn't seem like it would be too hard of a remake for Nintendo to churn out, and it would help tie us over until maybe Kirby's next original adventure, which would probably be more inspired by Forgotten Land. I could see this one coming out around April, May, probably not too far off. Keeping with the theme of remakes, I think we're finally going to see that rumored Fire Emblem 4 remake. Now I'm not a Fire Emblem fan, but I know that they've been talking about this one for years. Apparently it's been done, Nintendo's just sitting on it like they usually do. I'm kind of imagining this to be in the same situation as Fire Emblem Echoes was back on 3DS right after the Switch launched, where it's kind of like that late stage, oh here's the remake while the new system comes out. Full disclosure, I'm probably not going to play it, but I think just having it and knowing that it exists would be really cool for the fans. Fire Emblem is a much more popular series around the world than it was 15 years ago, so I think it would be cool for Nintendo to bring over some of these games for the first time. I mean, they already did it back in 2020, so a full-fledged remake is probably going to be way better than just a regular translation. Another prediction, I think we're going to see Rhythm Heaven. Rhythm Heaven's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, and they always seem to come toward the end of a system's life. I know the team that works on Rhythm Heaven is the same team that works on the WarioWare games, and it's going to be about 1.5 years since WarioWare Move It came out, so I think that they've had time to be making a new Rhythm Heaven. If not, just like port one of the older ones, I'll be happy either way. For the past few years, I've kind of been expecting them to make a Rhythm Heaven that has a big co-op focus. Rhythm Heaven Fever already had some pretty cool co-op, and I thought that maybe the developers would take advantage of this, but I guess they saw more opportunities for this in WarioWare. I don't care, maybe I'm a little disgruntled. We got 2 new WarioWares on Switch and not 1 Rhythm Heaven. And speaking of these smaller franchises that I think Nintendo should do more of, I think we might finally see a new Tamagotchi Life on Switch. Now I said new, but I mean, it could also be a port. It's been a couple years since Miitopia released on Switch, and I can just imagine the possibilities for Tamagotchi Life if we had a Mii Maker like that. Tamagotchi Life is beloved for its absurdity, like it's a fun time to put your friends and family in these wacky situations. And having recently looked at the prices this game is going for online, I feel like they need to make it more accessible. It's kind of future-proofed by the Switch 2 as well, because if that system is going to be backwards compatible, we know that Miis are coming back. So it's not too ridiculous for Nintendo to make such a Mii-focused game when their new system is coming out, because it will have Miis there too. And for my last prediction, I think we're going to see some kind of big Switch Online update. It's already been 2 years since they last added the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, so they could be adding a new system, but honestly I'm just not sure what it would be. I've seen a lot of people throw around the idea of GameCube, and while I'm not saying that'll never happen, I think through Pikmin and Metroid Prime, Nintendo realizes that they can sell us these games at a higher price and we'll buy it. So I'm not sure they'd be willing to include them in our current subscription, or even a more expensive tier. I was looking at the Virtual Console for a lot of my ideas for this, so maybe they can add the TurboGrafx or the Master System. Again, I would love GameCube or Wii, but I just don't see them doing that. At least not yet. Maybe when the Switch 2 releases and they have that mouse functionality, they'll add DS games. If we're not going to get a new system here, I think that maybe we can see them add a whole bunch of games to what we already have, and kind of give us an idea of what's coming. Like, we still don't have the original Super Smash Bros. On 64. And obviously, though it's much harder to predict, I do think we'll see a lot of third-party support in this. Now, it may not be full-on new reveals or announcements, but just companies wanting to remind us that these games are coming to Switch. And there were rumors that a new My Sims bundle would be coming. There's also been some games that appeared in other Nintendo Directs, but not all of them. I think we might see some localized games in there too. And I say it every Nintendo Direct, but I'm really hoping for something from the Mother series. Please, Nintendo, come on, I can't be wrong every time. And screw it, while I'm out here voicing everything I want to see, I really hope we get a Pac-Man World Repack 2, or Pac-Man World 2 Repack. I don't know, Namco, just remake the game. I also wouldn't complain if we ended up seeing Kid Icarus Uprising at some point. I'd love to play this game with a proper controller. Not necessarily a prediction, but just wanted to put that out there. So those are my predictions for what appears to be the final Switch 1 focused Direct. As I stated before, am I expecting to see all of this? No. Am I expecting to see most of it? Probably not. But it's always fun to speculate. I love when it's Direct time because you never know what we're going to get. Honestly, I think it's better if I can't predict everything. I love being surprised. But if you check back tomorrow, I'll have a video up of my reaction to the Direct, so make sure you subscribe and you'll see that. And also let me know down below what your predictions are for this Direct. Do you agree with my predictions? Or maybe I mentioned something that you don't quite agree with. Let me know. But otherwise, that's all I got for today, and I'll see you guys next time.